Well, welcome to the FTS podcast, Tabitha. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
I'm excited to get into your story. So you're somebody who has struggled with addiction, mental health.
Mm-hmm.
How many years of sobriety do you have now?
So I'm coming up on 3.5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Sweet. So, did you grow up here in the area in Baltimore?
Yeah, I grew up in Baltimore.
So what was that like?
So I grew up in Dundalk, and growing up for me was pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
As a child from the start. So my mom and my dad were together, and it was me and my sister. I have an older sister. She's 11 months older than me.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were pretty close in age. But I always say that me and her grew up in the same household, but completely different somehow.
No, it's really interesting because siblings, like, yeah, you could be so close in age and still have an entirely different experience growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one could feel like they were traumatized and the other, like, doesn't need any therapy whatsoever or, like, doesn't struggle with addiction or whatever it is.
Yep. That's how it was for us. So like I said, my mom and my dad were together, but my dad was an alcoholic, and he was pretty abusive to my mother. So, you know, we seen a lot of that growing up. So eventually they split. We were kind of bounced around from different houses, different family members. We were with my grandmom for a while. Then we moved in with my aunt, my mom's sister, and there was a lot of people in that house. So we really didn't have our own space.
Yeah.
So my mom ended up getting into another relationship. I was probably like 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was kind of like in and out. So the relationship that she got into, he ended up moving in that house with us, with all the people. We kind of all four shared a bedroom. Me, my mom, him, and my sister. We all slept in the same bed. He was amazing, right? Like, I, in a way, wanted him to be my father, you know, because he did everything with us that my dad didn't do with us. So from like a young age, I really looked up to him, but then he became abusive to my mother. She would take me and my sister out, like, for bike rides, like, to hide from him without telling us that, but eventually we kind of put it together.
No, yeah, I've had experiences like that. Like, I remember, like, my dad wasn't, like, abusive, like, all the time. I wasn't, like, I was living in fear every day. So I'm not trying to minimize it, but I'm not trying to make it seem like it was horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. I mean, at the time, you know?
And we would literally, like, I would have to go out with my mom and, like, sleep at a park just so she can get some rest because she was just tired from working all day, and now she has to deal with this shit at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we just sleep at a park. And I'd, like, be, like, I wouldn't, obviously, I couldn't feel comfortable, you know, sitting in the car. So I would just, like, be lookout. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of normal at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not long after they got together, he started being, like, sexually abusive towards me. And I didn't realize that it was wrong, the things that he was doing, you know. Started out slight, and then, of course, it ended up being worse. So from the time I was 5, 6 years old until I was 13, 14 years old, I had that going on, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my mom, and I was very confused by it because there's this man who is teaching me everything and doing my homework with me and, you know, being there like a father figure. But when no one else is around, he's doing other things. And I was just really confused about it. So like I said, I didn't say anything. I didn't tell anyone. Really wasn't even sure if it was right or wrong, because that's how I grew up from a very young age. I kind of became angry as a child, very angry. I was like acting out, just, you know, messing up the furniture we had, or like, you know, getting into fights at a young age.
And that's normal, you know, because I experienced like something similar of like this is something that's happening that's really confusing, and I almost know I can't tell anybody about it, or I have this feeling that I can't tell anybody about it. So you start acting out. It's kind of just like how it usually works with kids and like experiencing horrible shit. We like release it in other ways, like the frustration.
No one really noticed that I was acting out that way. Or if they did notice, no one, said anything. I was just a bad child at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had some mental health stuff going on too that was never talked about in our household.
Were there substances in the house?
Drinking, yes, and he had been prescribed Percocets for a surgery that he had, so he was giving me them at a pretty young age, maybe like 14 years old, I think. He gave me my first one, and it was kind of just like a couple times here and there at that age, but at that age I was drinking a lot and smoking a lot, like to the point where I would be blacked out and not remember anything and come home with either one shoe on or like half my face, like road burn on the side of my face. And I had no idea what had happened until my friends would tell me the next day, you know, like one day I was walking home in the morning still drunk, and I tried to get on a school bus where the children were getting on the bus to go to school to catch a ride home. And they kicked me off the school bus, and I fell straight on my face, and like the whole side of my face was just road burn.
That's crazy.
Like stuff like that from a young age I was doing.
What was the first substance you ever took? Was it the Percocets or alcohol?
Alcohol.
What was your first experience with that, and how did you feel?
My first experience with that was probably like 9, 10 years old. My mom and him would go out to the bar and get drunk, and they would come home, and they would still be like partying in the living room, and they would let me and my sister, have drinks of their beers, and my mom would like dance around the living room with us. So like it was a happy time when, you know what I mean? Like that was my thought at the time. Like this is fun. You know, we weren't really like a touchy-feely family, like with our mother, me and my sister. Like we didn't, like hug her or like say I love you or none of that. So it was like when she's drunk and she comes home, that's our time to have a good time with our mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was kind of my first introduction to alcohol, was like, this is how we bond. For sure. So yeah, I started like drinking every single night. Him and my mom worked overnight, so I would have parties in their basement. And at the age of 15, I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. And like I said, I was getting blacked out every single night. I had no idea that I was pregnant until my mom had to go to court for me not going to school, because all I was doing was partying at the time. I would go to school and leave immediately.
Yeah.
And she would work all night and sleep most of the day, so I didn't really see my mom that often. And I wasn't paying attention to my body. I didn't really care about myself enough at the time.
Yeah.
So we were in the courthouse, and she was there with me, and she brought it up and was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "What? No, like no way. There's no way I'm pregnant." And I was 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
When I found out.
Was it like you were showing?
Yeah.
Hey, but you were like, yeah.
Yeah, like not a whole lot, but I mean, I'm small. So even when I had her, I mean, I got pretty big towards the end, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think in my mind, maybe I just thought it was from like drinking all the time, or
the drink
not taking care of my body. You know what I mean? So I ended up having my daughter when I was 15.
Oh, you were 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I had her, I had to get an emergency C-section done. I went in there a day after I was due, and like my amniotic fluids were getting low. So they were trying to induce my labor, and it wasn't working, and they're like, "We have to get this baby out right now." So I had an emergency C-section, and that was like really scary at the age of 15. I didn't want to do it, and they're like, "Ma'am, we have to get this child out of you. Like, there's no other option." So I had the C-section, and they prescribed me Percocets.
Wow.
And that's really where my addiction took off, with other substances, because it was just the alcohol and the weed before that. I fell in love with them immediately. I remember trying to convince my sister and my cousin, or no, not my cousin, I'm sorry, our friend, how amazing they were and why they needed to do them also.
I was doing the same thing with Xanax. I wanted everybody on this shit. I'm like, God, this is lit. You have to try this pill. No, I don't know why. It's like, I don't know. I think I just wanted people to get high with me. I don't know what really my intention was at the time with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got them to take one, and they took one, and they went to Six Flags, and I was home because I just had a C-section.
Yeah.
And they had a miserable time, and I was like...
No, same experience with me. Everybody else hated it. There's maybe like one or two that actually they got hooked on it. But so how are you feeling with having a baby?
Honestly, so my family didn't want me to have her.
Yeah.
But to me, I thought that maybe having a child, and I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
I thought that at the time, like, having a child of my own, like, something to love and something to love me would, like, I don't know, I guess fix me, or, whatever was wrong with me, because I had no idea at the time. So I was like, I was really happy about it, but unfortunately that's not what happened. I was doing all the same stuff right after she was born. My mother fell in love with her immediately, so she ended up raising her almost her entire life. It was the same as before I had her, and like I loved my daughter more than anything in the world, but my addiction, I wouldn't say it was more important, but it had a stronger hold on me than the love for my child. So from the time I had her, my addiction pretty much took off with the Percocets, and I did them for a while. But like I said, I was very angry, and I was still angry. So by the time I turned 18, I was already getting arrested for assault charges. And I remember one time I got arrested for an assault charge, and in the precinct I got another assault charge on the police officer, and it was like a reoccurring thing.
Right.
I would go to jail and get out and do the same thing again because I was angry and I had these mental health issues that had never been addressed or talked about. I really didn't even know that medication was a thing. I started using heroin. I believe I was about 24, and by that time I had already been to prison one time, I think, and that's where I learned that heroin is cheaper than perks, and you get higher on them. And so when I came home, let me back up a little bit. When I was 18, I ended up getting into a relationship, and I had another child. I had a son.
Right.
So he's in that equation as well. Now, my daughter lived with my mom, but my son lived with me. So she's seen a lot, but he's seen a lot. I kind of dragged him through my addiction as well as my daughter. But like I said, he lived with me.
Were the fathers in their lives at all?
So I didn't know who my daughter's father was. I had no idea, didn't remember the situation whatsoever. Actually, it's been almost 2 years now. I did a 23andMe for her, and we found out who her father is. Yeah, there was like...
So he happened to sign up for 23andMe as well?
His family, his sister, and like some aunts of his or something like that. And there was some like speculation when I was younger, so when it popped up on there, I was like, you know what, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's actually in her life now. She's 20.
I did want to ask you about your prison experience. Was it because of the assault charge?
So, okay, the first time I went to prison was an assault charge, a different one.
What were you doing? You were just like, you were just fighting people?
I was mad. I was angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody was fair game to me at that time. Yeah, I was pretty much just fighting people. But the first time I went to prison, I've been there multiple times, but the first time that I went there was for an assault charge, but it was really for a robbery. Okay. I was robbing people at the time, and well, yeah, that's how I was making my money or, getting my stuff. So I had this girl set up. We were going to meet up with her and take what she had to get high for the day, but she also had the same plan for us. She was planning on taking our money, right? So when we pulled up, I took what she had and she tried to jump in the car, so I took off and was driving down the alley, and she got pretty messed up. I was like, swerving the car around, hitting her off of the fences in the alley, and she ended up in the hospital with like road burn on her chest, her arms, and her legs, and a missing tooth or a broken tooth or something like that. And she pressed charges on us, and I got 3 years in prison for that.
Were you doing all this in Baltimore?
Yeah, mostly.
And then you were how old?
At that time, 20.
And what was your first time in prison like? Was there any fear?
To be completely honest, at the time, these are my thoughts at the time. Not now. I would never want to go to prison now. But at the time, honestly, it didn't really bother me that I was there.
When you're in a certain mindset, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because our judgment's clouded with all the substances we're putting in our body. We're kind of in a survival mode. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I was bugging just one night in jail.
Yeah.
Not knowing if anybody was going to bail me out or if anybody knew I was there.
Oh, yeah.
So, my mind's always blown with people who go to prison for extended periods of time because, I was 18 in jail and I was like, I wanted to kill myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, by the time I had went to prison, I had already been in jail several times.
Yeah. So,
the mindset that I had back then, when I would get arrested, I always knew people in the detention center, and so it really didn't bother me. I was kind of comfortable in that structured environment.
Yeah.
At MCIW, it wasn't much different than being at home with the life that I was living. Got high down there every single day.
Yeah.
Had drugs brought in, was selling drugs down there. I like women. There was a lot of them down there, So it at the time, it really didn't have an effect on me. And I think I was a lot worse the first time I came home from there because I learned a lot of new stuff while I was there.
Like the heroin?
Yeah.
So when you went to prison, that got you hooked on heroin?
Yeah.
So you started taking that outside after your first time in prison?
Yeah. So my thing was selling the Percocets. Taking the Percocets and selling heroin, right? Because I would never do heroin, you know what I mean? But that thought was in my mind after the first time I had went to prison. Like, it gets you higher and it's cheaper. I'm out here buying these pills for all this money when I got this right here, So first time I did heroin was actually in jail. So I got arrested again for another assault charge, but it also was a burglary charge. My neighbor, so I had an apartment complex that was like, you walk in, there's a neighbor's door, a basement door, and my door. So it was only us three in there. And I was stashing my stuff in the basement in this charcoal bag, underneath the charcoal in case the police came in, you know what I mean? And one morning I woke up and I went down there to get it and it was gone. And I knew she was also in active addiction, right? So I automatically knew that it was her. So me and my girlfriend at the time kicked her door in and started going through all her stuff and, beat her up along the way, and she called the police, and I had got arrested again. So they put me and my girlfriend at the time in the same jail cell. We had brought in with us what we had on us, which was, it was a lot of cocaine and it was heroin. And I just had it running through my mind, like what I had learned about, you know, it being better. And we ended up doing it in the jail cell for the first time.
It's crazy that you're in there with it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like take it off of you.
You know, I would bag it up and put it up inside of me and take it right in.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done that several different times. It kind of became a routine for me, like when I would be riding around to make sure I had all my stuff ready for if I got pulled over.
Mentally prepared for getting arrested at all times.
Yes, all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not long after that, you know, I started using a needle. I had got this house from a friend of mine, and her boyfriend was on steroids. So when they left the house, like, they kind of just left and I moved in. It was just like I took their lease over.
Yeah.
So he had all these boxes of them big steroid needles in the closet. I didn't get rid of them, and I think it was subconsciously I knew one day that I was going to need them. You know what I mean? Because they were in there for months, just stacks of them. Ran out of stuff one day, and I had like a little bit left, and I knew they were in there, and it was the first time I used a needle was a steroid needle, and they're pretty big. And I used that whole box of them, and I told myself it was only going to be that one time, and it was not that one time. So by that time, I think I was like 23 or 24. I am going to back up a little bit. 19 or so, finally told my mother what had been going on with her husband.
So they got married?
Oh, yeah. I finally had told her what had been going on with him, and that was really hard to do. The way I did it was like really sudden, like in front of him, in front of her, and it was like the scariest thing that I've ever done.
What made you want to open up about it?
Well, because my daughter lived with my mother.
Yeah.
And she was a few years old at the time, and I'm like, I don't want to think that the same thing would happen to her, but I'm not risking that. My memory's really bad, but I remember that day like it was literally yesterday. He was going to walk up the stairs, and she was sitting on the couch, and I just came out and told her. He froze and just sat on the step and like didn't say anything. He didn't know what to say. And I had made up this lie because, of course, he denied everything. So I had made up this lie because he was out of work for, I don't know, some disability he had going on at the time. So I had told him, like, look, you want to prove this to my mother? I set up these dates for you to go take a lie detector test. And I was like, I set up this date and this date, this time and that time. What time are you available? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a lie. I didn't set anything up, and he wouldn't do it. My mom left him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I ran into him a couple times. First time I was still in active addiction. As soon as I seen him, I just started beating on him. And I fell to my knees crying. Like, I didn't know. Like, I try not to think about it. Yeah. So I never really dealt with it until recently. So I didn't really know how much effect that it had on me until that day. Like, all these emotions just came out of nowhere. Yeah, man, after that day, I was like, I have to get some type of help for that.
Did you resent your mother for never knowing?
Mm-hmm.
How did you work through that? Or did you communicate that with her?
No, did not communicate that with her. Yeah, I did resent her, and I still have resentments towards her for it that I hope one day I can talk to her about, you know? 'Cause like I told you earlier, we weren't really the type of family to talk about things, like talk about feelings or really even have feelings at all. So I've never talked to her about it.
To this day.
Yeah, I'm hoping one day I can actually talk to her about it and tell her how I feel about the whole situation. And yeah, I do a lot of step work in Narcotics Anonymous, and like that has helped me so much. So I think I will be ready to talk to her about it one day, but I don't think
there's no
ready
rush
for
for
that
it.
still.
It's interesting though, because she took it in that day that you told her she divorced her husband.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, yeah, end of story. Like, we're not really bringing it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard. I mean, I can kind of understand where her head's at, and I understand your feelings to the best of my ability as well. But being a mother and not knowing that that was happening to your child, it's heartbreaking on its own. And almost you don't even want to admit that, like, oh my God, I never noticed this. So I can see why it's kind of hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hard conversation.
Yeah, and she was also raised. She had a pretty hard childhood herself, and I always tell myself that, you know, this is her first time being a mother, and she's doing the best that she can. And
I know what you mean, because like that's the same thing I tell myself about my parents. Like, it's their first time being a parent. They're doing the best they can. You know, like, they grew up in another country. They just moved to America. Like, all these things. They're just trying to work hard and grind and hopefully provide, like, me and my brother a better life. So they're not really worried about fucking feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're kind of more in, like, slightly a survival mindset of, like,
yeah,
holy shit, we're not homeless and we have a fucking car and a house. And so I know what you mean, but it's like, it still pisses me off. And I wish I didn't have to go through that. And it's not an excuse, like, that they, you know, it's their first time living and being a parent, but it's almost like give them a little bit of grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, it makes it a little easier for us to kind of, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but like.
So, yeah, one day we'll have that conversation.
For sure.
I went back to prison again.
Yeah.
For a distribution charge.
So you're being a drug dealer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, yeah.
You're like, I guess I was.
I guess I was. Yeah.
I attempted that and never worked out for me.
Yeah. Well, I was a really good drug dealer until I wasn't, you know, until I started doing the drugs I was selling.
Right.
And, well, it came to a point where once I got bad off enough, I started robbing my own customers. Yeah, pretty shitty thing to do. I mean, a lot of shit that I did was shitty, but yeah, so I went back to prison again for a distribution charge, and this time I got 5 years. Man, and I still really didn't really care that I was there. I was doing all the same stuff again, getting people to bring in drugs for me, doing drugs in there, getting in fights in there, all the same stuff that I did at home, I did in there. It was kind of like a playground down there. I didn't take it serious. I didn't take myself serious. I didn't really think I was worth much more than the life I was living at the time. I really didn't have much self-worth at all at the time. Pretty much my whole entire life I've been on some type of substance. You know, coming home from prison, coming home high the day that I came home. I had one of the COs tell me I was going to go home and die. I was in the bullpen waiting to leave, or not the bullpen, the little property hall, waiting to get my stuff, waiting to leave, and I was in there nodded out, high as ever, and I remember her telling me that I was going to go home and die. Like, that will never be me, you know? So I came home and thought that I could drink alcohol because obviously I'm not having too much success doing heroin, so I'm going to go back to just drinking alcohol.
So your head went to kind of like a solution. So you think what the CO said kind of got in your head a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think I was in such denial about something like that ever happening to me. I don't think it got in my head at all. I was kind of just like, who are you talking to?
Okay.
You know, that would never happen to me.
But you went home from prison that day and attempted to make a little switch to alcohol. I can control this a little better.
Yep, that did not happen. I ended up getting into a fight at the bar. They called the police. I ran and crashed the car at the end of the street and got a DUI.
Classic DUI.
Oh, man. Yeah, in my mind, I didn't see that as a problem. I was making up all these excuses of why it happened. Mind you, I'm drinking and driving. I'm the problem, obviously. So I ended up getting another DUI a month or two later. I was down Ocean City, and I just happened to get pulled over. Apparently, I was swerving.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We think we're driving straight.
Yeah, I'm driving straight like this. So I got another DUI, got bailed out on that. So I went back to my drug of choice.
You're like, alcohol is not fucking working. I'm getting these DUIs.
Yeah, I mean, everything always led me back to what I really like to do, which is to shoot dope.
How do you think, like, at the time, heroin provided an escape for you?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how did it make you feel?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what made it so different from alcohol?
It made me feel like nothing really mattered. Like, I didn't have to think about my feelings. I didn't have to really have any responsibilities. I feel like it made me feel loved, by the heroin. It loved me, Yeah. I mean, that's the only way I can really describe it. And I know I loved it too more than anything else in the world. I chose it over everything.
It's funny because I used Xanax, like, as an escape from my reality as well. And I don't know, it's interesting because a lot of sure, I had a few issues before I really got into, like, substances. But starting on the substances, it made so many more issues to where I was like, oh, wait, my escape from the issues is the substances. But no, that's the thing creating the issues. And it's this huge cycle of chaos that these drugs are creating. But I think it's helping me escape them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Yeah. It makes no sense when you're actually in the right state of mind and, like, clear-minded. It's like, what?
We're in this, and what really helped me with sobriety and recovery, my early sobriety and recovery, is realizing how crazy my thought process was throughout my addiction, how delusional it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like shouting out the 12-step programs, but in the big book, in the beginning, like in the, I think it's in the doctor's opinion, it talks a lot about, like, we're delusional and we don't know, like, reality from not. And I related and resonated so much with that because I was in this whole other reality that was just not true whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was, like, playing everything off so smoothly, and it was just so far from the truth. So when we really, like, look back when we're sober and clear-minded, hindsight's 2020. It's like, wow, it was actually insane. And you can actually see the insanity in our addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes so much sense in the moment when it really, like, it actually doesn't.
No sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. When I talk about it, I'm kind of like, what?
I was like thinking.
Why? Why? Why did you do that? What were you thinking?
And it's like even doing the things that I really didn't even want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really gets me. It's like sometimes I didn't even want to get high, but I did it anyways.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, towards the end of my addiction, I was so done, but I could not stop. I remember crying on my way to cop and still copping and getting high.
Right.
After that second DUI, I went back to what I really wanted to be doing.
Right.
I started overdosing a lot. I think I was done with myself to the point where I didn't care if I lived or died, and I got pretty reckless towards the end. I was going to Kensington in Philadelphia to cop now, and
How
It's a
come?
whole. So it's a funny story. So I was actually the first time that I went there was with a friend of mine. She had just got out of rehab, and I was like on the methadone program.
Right.
So to me, I was clean, but I was really on a lot of methadone, and so she had told me about this place she heard about in rehab, and
Kensington.
yeah,
That's fucked up.
yeah, she went to rehab in PA, and they all were from there, you
Yeah.
know, and she was telling me about like the needle park and like how crazy it was out there, and I was like, you know, they're exaggerating. So we drove out there like just to check it out, and it was pretty crazy out there. Somehow or another, we ended up out there using when we both relapsed. We ended up out there separately though. You know, like what? Why? Why would I think? Let me go check out. Let me go check out this new spot. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I'm not getting high at the moment. I mean, I'm on the methadone program. Let me go check out this new spot to see what it's looking like.
Yeah, you guys are hearing it's a fucking mecca of drugs and all kinds of shit. You're like, yeah, it's probably not that serious.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty serious. Yeah. So I ended up starting to cop out there, and I would drive 2.5 hours out there, get like a bundle or a couple bundles, come back for a couple days, and that was like my routine.
Were you ever exposed to Xylazine?
Oh yeah,
Tell me about that.
yeah. That's what I OD'd on many times. Man, that stuff is wild. I always say it's like crack heroin, because it's like it's like I can't even explain it. So it's like you do it, a real little bit of it, and you're just out. Like there's no high, there's no enjoying it. You're either overdosed or you're just out cold. And as soon as you wake up, you have to do more because you're ill already. It's the craziest thing I've ever done. But I loved it. Loved it so much to drive 2.5 hours a few days a week to go get it, you know?
First heard of Xylazine when I was actually in California. And I moved out here and like now I'm closer to it. So I feel like I actually get to hear stories of people who have really experienced Xylazine. It's a lot bigger over here on the East Coast. But yeah, big thing is that it's like a horse tranquilizer, but I also heard it eats at your flesh.
Yeah.
Did you experience that?
I didn't experience that.
Yeah.
Thank God. I never experienced that. But so, like I said, I overdosed a lot to the point where the girl that I was getting high with, she stopped telling me when I overdosed.
Because it became a frequent thing?
Yeah, it was just like another normal day.
Yeah.
Like I remember one day I was telling her like my chest hurts, like, oh, like my chest hurts real bad, like it feels bruised. And she was like, you don't remember what happened? And I'm like, no, what happened? She's like, you overdosed again. And
They were trying to save you.
she always did. Yeah, she was doing like chest compressions on me. And yeah, at the end I overdosed back to back one time. Immediately. Overdosed, got Narcan, overdosed again. A couple hours later, I was just at the end. Like I didn't care anymore. And also the Xylazine, it's like no in between. You're either overdosing or you're just out cold. But it had such a hold on me. And I remember like there was a point where like my veins were no good anymore, like anywhere. And so I tried to go back to sniffing it, but that just wasn't as good, right? So I literally went on Google and searched how to hit a vein in my groin, because I've tried it before, and the girl that I was getting high with would always do it, and I'm like, I can't figure it out, right? So I Googled it and I figured it out, and it was like off to the races all over again.
Wow.
I ended up getting arrested again. My last time getting arrested literally saved my life, because like I said, I was ready to go.
Right.
Like, my kids would have been better off without me. These are my thoughts at the time. They won't have to worry about me no more. They won't have to go through all the stuff that I put them through. My kids have been, in the car with me multiple times when I've been arrested. They've seen it. My daughter's seen me out cold. I had the feds bust in my mom's house one time looking for me in plain clothes and had a gun in my daughter's face in her bed. Just all the stuff I put them through. Like, I thought they'd be better off without me here, and I didn't care about myself enough or even think that I mattered enough to do anything better. I really didn't think I could even do any better.
Right.
So the last time I had got arrested was for a DWI, which
The third one
I learned is different.
Oh, what is it?
It's driving while so far impaired by drugs that you can't drive safely or something like that. So it's driving while on drugs when a DUI is driving under the influence.
Which is alcohol.
Yeah. I had no idea they were different until I got the charge. And
You're like, hey, I think you guys got the letter wrong.
Yeah. This ain't right.
No, I got WIs. I always say they're DUIs though, but I got WIs. I got 3 of them as well. My third one I would say saved my life.
Yeah. It saved my life. That was around the time I told you, like, I was crying on my way to cop. Like, I did not want to be getting high no more, but I didn't want to be alive anymore.
Right.
I didn't know how to stop. Treatment wasn't an option for me because I could never stop on my own. Anytime I've stopped was because I've gotten arrested and been forced to stop.
You said so that's why treatment wasn't an option?
Well, in my mind, it wasn't. In my mind, it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop.
Right.
So when I got arrested that time, my daughter was actually living with me at the time. She came to me not long before I got arrested, and I had taken her to Patient First. She had something going on, and they ended up coming in the room and asking her if it was okay to talk in front of me, and they told her that she was pregnant. I'm like, we both just looked at each other, didn't say anything, and the nurse practitioner was like, I'll give you guys a minute. Right. And I just started crying, and I started telling her all these lies like I usually do, like her baby's not gonna have to see me the way she did, because I'm clean. Told her I was clean at the time when I'm sure she knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I got arrested, she was due in a few months, and she had found out that I was lying again, like I always am. They wouldn't give me a bail that time, thank God, because, my whole plan when I was in there, detoxing, sick as a dog on the floor, was to get well, to get high. And they didn't give me a bond because of my record, and I'm so grateful for that. So my attorney was telling me about this new program in Baltimore County, Adult Recovery Court. It was brand new. I was going to be the first participant.
No way.
Yeah, I was going to be the first participant for it in district court. The only thing that I heard from that conversation was, you can get out next week.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was my only goal, was to get out of jail.
To see your daughter.
To be there when she had the baby.
Yeah.
Right? My plan was never to stay clean. So I was only in there for 17 days this time, right? And it was the hardest jail time I've ever done in my life because I was so done with that lifestyle. I just could not stop. That 17 days was rough. Like, the time I did in prison was a breeze. But them 17 days, like, man, I was so done. I'm just so grateful for that time being in there. Up until a couple days before I got out, I just wanted to get high the whole time. And I don't know what changed, but like the last 2 days I was there, all I could think about was like being able to just be there when she had the baby, right? So he got me out into the program. I had to go to treatment. Like, I did not want that, but like that's how I'm going to get out of jail, so I'm going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I went to treatment. I got kicked out of the first treatment center. Yeah.
What did you do?
basically for fraternizing with another female in there.
Yeah. Not allowed.
Yeah. So we both got kicked out. Luckily, they sent me to another treatment center instead of contacting the court and sending me back to jail. So I had to go back in front of the judge and going back to jail. I'm like, oh my God, I messed up. Like, I don't know how it happened, you know? So she let me stay in treatment. I ended up, it was like a 30-day program or like 21 or 28-day program. Like I ended up completing that program and going to a recovery house. And my daughter went into labor, and I went up to the hospital and I was just crying because this was like the first time that I've been actually clear-minded and not on either methadone or, you know, getting high. All these emotions were coming on, and I think I cried for like the first year that I was clean.
For sure.
Yeah, it was wild. So I'm just up there in the hospital crying, and
So you actually stayed sober through that last time in treatment? Your second time in treatment?
first time. Oh, second time.
Second time in treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I stayed clean the first time too. I stayed clean from the time when I
Yeah, so technically your first time.
Yeah, technically it's just one big
Okay. So you got to see her being born? Was him being born?
Yes. Yeah, and that really did something to me, I'm telling you. I remember being in the cafeteria waiting because it was during COVID still for some reason, even though it was 2022. And only one other person could come back besides her and the father.
Right.
And I was in the cafeteria and I seen his mom in there. And in my mind, I'm like 2 months clean, fresh out of jail again, have nothing. And this woman is, she's like a veterinarian and like a normal person, you know? So I'm like, there's no way they want me to be in that room, you know? Like, you might as well just leave now. And telling myself all this crazy stuff, like all this negative self-talk. My daughter called me and told me they wanted me to come back in the room with them. And like, oh man, that was like the best time ever. I think we were in there for like 3 days. She was in labor for a really long time. And
wow.
I cried the whole time, and it was such a good time. And then she had the baby, and that's my little man.
So he's 3 now.
Yep, he's 3. And them lies that I was telling her actually became to be true, that he would never have to see me like she did, you know, because I've been clean the whole time he's been alive.
Right.
Yeah, so when I was in that drug program in court, they made me do things that I didn't want to do that I'm so grateful for today. They made me get a therapist. I had to be on medication. I had never been on medication before.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that because I'm still on medication. I graduated from that program like a year to like almost 2 years ago, you know, and I'm still in therapy and still on medication. And like I fought it hard at first to the point where they made me write a letter to the court telling them why I need to be on medication and why I need therapy.
Right.
And when I was writing the letter, I was like, damn, man, maybe I do need, you know, maybe I do need this. So, yeah, I graduated from that program. I was the first participant for it and the first person to graduate from
That's sick.
Yeah, so.
And how many other people do you think have gone through that program?
I'm not sure. Like, I still keep in contact with them every now and then.
But it's like it's still actively going, and that's sick.
It's still actively going. Yeah, so they had asked me to come to their symposium and speak after I graduated, and I don't like talking in front of people, especially people of the court.
Right.
You know, but I agreed to do it because they literally saved my life. You know, like my case manager that I had there went above and beyond to do anything that I needed help with. Like they were there to actually help me. I just have had a different perspective, you know, because I always thought people like that were against you, against
Right.
me, not you, me. When I actually wanted to do better, they were there to help me, not harm me. And so yeah, they asked me to come back and share or to speak at their symposium, and I did. I did not want to do, but I did.
Symposium is like, that's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. It was a lot of people, and I was so
How much time of sobriety did you have at this point?
about a year and a half. Yeah.
What were you doing, like, to stay sober? Because I feel like from what I'm hearing, it kind of sounded like your daughter having a baby was almost the motivation to get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the case? Or, I mean, you were also, and then on top of it, you were kind of like getting over this lifestyle.
Yeah.
So what do you think was what would you say was the real push?
So
And how did you start maintaining it?
a lot of people say you have to get clean for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
But that wasn't the case for me at first, at least. At first it was just for the baby and just to be there for her when she had him. But as like a little time went on, I started to care about myself, you know, just a little bit, just enough to try. So, you know, I am in a 12-step program. I got a sponsor immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do step work and really anything she would suggest for me to do. And I stopped hanging out with the people I was hanging out with before, like completely stopped, and started being around people that were doing better. And it just became like the norm, I guess, you know. And like the better I got, the better I wanted to get.
Right.
You know, like, and none of it really happened overnight. Like looking back now from when I got clean, I didn't want to be here, but I didn't know I could be where I'm at today, you know. I just wanted to stay clean. But like I started getting these opportunities, I just took it all in, and every time I got an opportunity, I would take it. Where I'm at today, and it's like it's not even that I'm in a better place, but like I'm a completely different person, you know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is who I'm supposed to have been this whole time, but I just didn't care about myself enough to let it happen.
Right.
So like I got a really good network. I only hang out with people who are doing something positive with their life, or people who have what I want in life. And I do a lot of therapy. Well, not so much therapy, but
Still going.
yeah, I definitely. And the medication situation, I feel like that was a big life changer for me. Because there's been a couple times since I've been clean that I did not think I needed my medication anymore. So I stopped taking it. It made me realize how much I actually need it.
You know, whatever it takes to realize you need it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember showing up at my sponsor's house, like crying, like, I think I need to be back on my medication. Yeah. And she was like, get back on it and we'll revisit this in a month and see how you feel. And I got back on my medication, and long and behold.
Recovery, I feel like recovery a lot in the beginning is doing the things that you really don't want to do. Because in sober living, like, I rebelled against taking my medication as well. I was like, I have to take my medication at 9 a.m. every morning and at fucking 9 p.m. every night. What the hell? Like, we still have this somewhat like rebellious mindset. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then over time we actually end up wanting better for ourselves, and actually like a new life and stability starts to seem appealing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really liked what you said with like all the shit, like going to treatment and all these suggestions and the things people are telling me. Like, my first thought is fuck no. But once you do it and go against your first thought and start doing contrary action, it always works out for the best.
Mm-hmm. And it has.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely has. So I ended up going to speak at that symposium.
Mm-hmm.
Scared to death, but I did it. And afterwards, a woman had approached me and asked me how I would feel about working for the public defender's office as a peer recovery specialist. And I was flattered, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, in my mind, I'm like, there's no fucking way. You know, I basically know most of the public defenders from using them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not going to get this job, you know? Had an interview with them, and I got the job, and, like, that's just the craziest thing to me, because I got to help people that are in the same situation that I've been in so many times. And I've been there for almost 2 years now, and now I'm the statewide lead forensic peer support specialist at the public defender's office for Maryland. Yeah, it's
amazing.
Crazy. I still can't believe that's my life today sometimes, you know. Oh man. Yeah, my grandson's 3. He's never seen me high. Me and my daughter have a great relationship today. She's 20. Me and my son are working on our relationship.
How old is he?
He's 16. I actually just filed for custody of him. So I don't really want to say a whole lot about that, but
Sure.
yeah, I'm working on that with him. I actually just got engaged. Like,
really?
I'm in a normal relationship. I've never been in one of those in my life. Yeah. So, oh man, it's so different. Like I think differently now.
Yes, that's huge.
yeah, that's a huge part of staying clean.
No, that's what it is though. It's like our thinking is our enemy for a long time, especially those who struggle with addiction. And it's for you, honestly, like your story is the majority of your life you were in this survival mode, and most of your life was spent under the influence of substances. So there's so much rewiring to do. And you're about like 2.5 years in, and there's still so much to go. You know what I mean? And the fact that you said it's already changed so much, like that's amazing. It's just going to keep on changing.
It's crazy what can happen if you just give yourself like the smallest chance in the world, you know? Like I didn't expect all this.
Yeah.
I remember when I had 6 months clean and the judge had asked me where I seen myself today 6 months ago. And I was just completely honest with her, and I said I didn't even picture myself being alive, you know, and even just that, you know, it's just crazy, man. I can't imagine couldn't imagine not being here today.
Did you personally hold a stigma with addiction? Like a misunderstanding, like I say this often, like my almost biggest issue early in recovery, I kind of just went to rehab because I was told to, and I just couldn't admit I was an addict. 3 DUIs in. I'm like, me an addict? Fuck no. I'm not addicted to heroin. I'm not a heroin addict, right? Like we all have these different bars of like what addiction is. Like I'm not begging for fronts and stuff like that. I'm 18, like, so what, 3 DUIs? That's not shit. I don't know. I had all these different thoughts and wanted to make myself so different from other addicts. I don't know. I just had a hard time admitting to being an addict because of the stigma and misconception that I had. with them. So
Yeah.
did you personally have a stigma with addiction? How'd you get through it?
For sure. For a really long time, I didn't think that I was an addict. Like, I thought I could stop when I wanted to, but I just don't. I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I told you, like, I sold a lot of drugs, right? So when I started coming around to meetings and I would see people and they're like, "Oh, you used to sell to me," I'd be so embarrassed because I'm like, like, I am not an addict. Like, I'm the drug dealer. You know what I mean? But so it was like really embarrassing for me for a while, and it shouldn't have been. But it took me a really long time to admit that I was an addict, and I don't think I admitted it until this last time when I was crying on my way to cop and couldn't stop. I mean, I know I couldn't stop any of the other times, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
The time that I wanted to stop and I couldn't is when I think I really realized, like, oh shit, I might be an addict. And I just admitted it, and not that I like embrace it, but I kind of do.
Right. We kind of have to embrace it now.
Yeah, there's no other way.
Imagine we don't embrace this. Like, us talking about it here on this platform is us embracing it.
Yeah.
Sharing our story. Like, the whole reason we go through, like, the fucking talk about the bullshit and all the shit we did and went through throughout our addiction is because it's like we're almost like reclaiming the power in our story and like how we got through it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe some of the things we experienced, some of the trauma that we went through kind of slightly plays a role in our addiction to substances. And it kind of helps, hopefully, the goal is to help other people see themselves in your story and then see that, hey, look, it's possible that somebody with a similar story can get sober now.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that I do talk about things that I normally wouldn't like to talk about, because I know there's other people that have been through the same thing and, that don't really want to share about it, but it makes it a little bit easier when they hear someone else has been through the same thing and, they're getting better, or, they're able to relate to it.
Sweet. Well, I feel like we kind of touched on a lot of things today.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and genuinely getting very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, that means the world. And even like tearing up, I'm like, I feel honored that you felt comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good.
Sweet. Thank you for coming on the FTS podcast. It means the world.
Thanks for having me.